Greetings and welcome to the Evening Curve with me, James Bradsher. Now, this morning was a little short as I was dead tired. But tonight, have you ever heard of David Gemmell, an author? Very good books. He writes two series that I really enjoy. One is the Regente series, set in ancient Scotland or Ireland, one of the two. I think it was Scotland. I think it was Scotland. So, and it's the tale of how the Scottish were fighting back against the bloody English. It is their beetle box and whatnot, our Celtic religion, our way of life, all depicted in a book for you, so you can get to know our civilization a little bit. So take the time to read some books every now and then. Just open one up. Inside is a variety of different people, places, and you can always come back and visit them whenever you like. But don't take my word for it. Open the damn book. And here's my pipe. I got it for $15 at the Dungeon, Yuba City. It's $15 out the door. No change, no nothing. It's in the same parking lot as the Sonic, so fairly easy to find. It's the tale of the Ring family. Anyways. Other words, there is another series, the Drenai Saga. More of an English tale, or maybe not English, but something over there. Tale of an ancient race, lost technologies, and very interesting group called Source Priests. They are accused of tree worship, but they are a completely passive force. You can nail them to the wall and torture them, and they're going to sit there and forgive you for your sins the whole time and try and be nice to you while you do it. You know, it would be most effective if you cut over here. It would be most painful, but I would survive for hours. It's a source priest for you. Wants to be helpful. Then you have their brothers, the Temple of the 30. They are still source priests, but they are a militant order. They study in privacy to become weapons masters and masters of the mystic arts, so that they can join one far-flung endeavor and die in great glory in order to found a new church. These are very interesting tales about very interesting people. You should pick up one of the books sometime. David Gemmell. Very interesting author. Vivid personalities, very caring people, laughter, tears, war, assassination, beasts, shapeshifters, magic, all comprised into one world. So, give it a try sometime. David Gemmell, the Drenai Sagas. May I recommend The Legend of Druss? Very interesting man, Druss. Very interesting. He had a possessed axe. But still, just books. But they're interesting reads. And reading is what you need to do in this time. During the COVID experience, we have a lot of spare time on our hands. Yes, you can play video games and watch TV. But there's always books as well, children. Adults. All of you. Pick up a book from time to time. Engross yourself. Learn something. Because most of these books, although they are set in fantasy worlds, are depictions of what went on in certain times in the country's history. Say the Valdemar series from Mercedes Lackey. They are just ancient transcripts of court logs of what their operatives did. The Royal Mounted Police back at that time period, what they were before they became Royal Mounted Police, they operated like this. And that is a true part of history. Another true part of history, their students, when they were learning their talents, because it's wintertime up there a lot, they started playing a game on the ice where they knock a ball into a net. The progenitor of hockey, which is now the country's main sport. So kind of gave them away. They're writing about Canada in those books. So, see, there are little tidbits of history hidden amongst the magic and mayhem that the authors write in to make it interesting. Like maybe some of the characters are real people. Maybe an officer really did deal with some disturbance in this area, and they just wrote a bunch of magic and mayhem in there to make it interesting. Hey, Clint Brook. Ex-British Army. Nice to see you, homie. Anyways, pick up a book from time to time. Shannara series is good. Edgar Rice Burroughs, the Martian series. Very interesting reads. Princess of Mars and all that. Very interesting read. And there's a lot of them. There's like 15 books. So the Tarzan series by Edgar Rice Burroughs, once again, engrossing. So pick up a book. There's nothing else to do. You can't go out. Pick up a book. Learn something. Even Tarzan will teach you something. It'll teach you parts about the history and how people operated in Africa at that time, how England saw them operating, the natives. Yeah. So you get interesting little tidbits out of it. Lord of the Rings. I love Lord of the Rings. J.R.R. Tolkien, another good author. Interesting read, well laid out, awesome artistry as far as the verbalization goes. Off the hook. I love Gandalf. I have to agree. I love Gandalf. Send me a link. I don't have a link. I don't have a link. You'll just have to go out and buy the book. You'll just have to go out and buy the books. Oh, you mean to put you up here? Nah. I only have guests on here when that's something I want them to be. I invite them to come to the show to come up here. Not just everybody gets to come up here on a panel. Because I don't do that. That's not me. This is my show. This is the Tom Green Show. It's not the Green Tom Show. This is my favorite show because it is my show. I like really understand those lyrics now. Anyways, J.K. Rowling, another good author. Harry Potter series, love the series. I love it so much I like to pretend that I'm a Harry Potter character right? I'm Harry Potter's older brother by 1 year. I was cursed by the Dark Lord and left in America, eked out in existence as a squib, right? Pretty cool. I don't know. It's interesting, anyways. But it's a really good book. You really fall in love with the characters. And the movies didn't do it justice. The movies left out so much stuff from the books. Like in the movie where Dumbledore and Harry were sitting in front of the mirror of Urza, and Harry asked Dumbledore what he saw in the mirror. In the book, Dumbledore said, "A thing of woolen. Christmas has come and gone, and will insist on giving me books." So it's just part of the book that wasn't in the movie, and it was really interesting. It really made you connect to Dumbledore, right? He's more worried about socks than books. He's a major player in this world. He can get all the books he needs, but good woolen socks are hard to come by, right? I do that. My aunt asks me all the time what I want for Christmas. I tell her socks and underwear. What do you want for your birthday? Socks and underwear. I got a rip in my pants, so maybe a pair of pants this year. So otherwise, I don't need people spending money on me. If I need money, I can get my own damn money. I always have. Always came up with money when I needed it. In Washington, I worked 2, sometimes 3 jobs at a time, and because of that, I had a lot of money on hand. It's hard to work here in Arbuckle. Nobody wants to hire anybody my age or a male, for instance. They all want adorable young females. So the guys come in and talk to them while they buy stuff. And besides, how am I supposed to work when I've had a broken neck, a broken knee, I got a bad back, I got a medical history. Nobody wants to hire the retard. So what am I supposed to do? California just knows I'm a retard. I hit it very well in Washington State. But California knows I'm a retard. And they're not going to let me play like I'm not. So that's why I don't get any of my money. Other people take it. I don't get my shipments in the mail. I was expecting 2 orders of knives, a knife roll, some amoxicillin, some amber, all that I purchased using this phone. The Washington State FBI have surveillance on my phone and have me making the purchase. Where are my purchases? So, yeah, that's just the way it is around here. Now is the time of the show that everybody loves. It's time to smoke a cigarette with the king. So light them if you got them, homies. I know. This episode kind of reminiscent of Reading Rainbow, right? So as a shout out to LeVar Burton and his show, The Reading Rainbow. I remember that as a kid. First time I ever saw LeVar Burton. Glad to see he got on TV as Geordie LaForge. Excellent depiction. I loved watching the show. I still watch it. Shit. So, how do you like Star Trek? What would you do if you found out Starfleet was real and that the Enterprise was actually a derelict hulk sitting in the northern hemisphere in the radiation zone and magnetic field of the northern pole? And that America was on board scavenging technologies, and it has fueled our success. Our alien ship is not on Area 51, it's in orbit. We're getting technologies from Star Trek. Yeah, that's what's going on. Now imagine for a second that a mage was brought on board ship. And you remember Dumbledore when he went to search for Slughorn, how the house was destroyed and he waved his magic wand and all went back together? Class went back together in the picture, everything. Imagine this wizard waved his magic wand and the Enterprise just got repaired. And now he claims it as salvage rights, owns it by right of salvage. Only they're keeping him locked up in holodeck 3, where their illusions keep him entertained at least. So I would really like to know that the Enterprise was repaired and in orbit, and that we could resurrect the crew by connecting the replicators into the transporters and just replicating the last known transporter signature of that crew member. So the immortal crew of the Enterprise, perhaps. It would be interesting to know that actually happened. So this broadcast proudly brought to you by Pepsi Cola Pepsi products, sold in stores near you. I wouldn't put him on my board, so he left. Hmm. So, what if the Enterprise was repaired and the crew was resurrected? How could they maintain a primitive population in the holodeck and get away with it without breaking Starfleet law? Especially when the planet has changed so much after the nuclear devastation. Something's going to be up. Somebody's going to notice something. So, how many aliens do you think exist in this area of space? I don't have a number per se, but I know there's a few. Because I know about the priest kings. The military calls them the mantis people. By talking to them, I find out that they are not small bugs easily squished. They are an ancient and civilized culture. So call them the priest kings, please. Then there is the Sid, which you call the Greys. Yes, they're gray in color. It's like calling blacks black. You don't do it. Their name is the Sid. Call them by their name. SIDH. Sid. Shit. How long have you guys been talking to these people? And you can't find their names? The Asgard, at least you know, are the Asgard. They introduced themselves. I mean, you upset a great many people in this area of space, America, with the way you operate. Your colonies on other planets, ravaging other planets for space, for needed resources, devastating primitive populations. Primitives have a right to be on their planet without you interfering. Some species are looked after by ancient and powerful beings. Our holders just happen to be called the Anunnaki. We have not spoken to them in years, but they are in attendance now. They are orbiting this planet, watching us because of our great ineptitude. So, like I said, pick up a book. Pick up the Star Trek books. That'd be an interesting read. You like the movies? There's more information in the books than can be put in the movies or the TV show. So pick up the books. Read about Starfleet. Learn about them. The United Federation of Planets. The United Federation of Keep Your Mouth Shut. That made me laugh. The United Federation of Keep Your Mouth Shut. That just makes me want to tail it even more. Okay? Yeah, yeah. That's so interesting. I think people should be aware of alien involvement. If we're going to evolve as a species and we are going to leave this planet for spatial travel, then we need to inform the populace of our friends and whatever dangers they may encounter in deep space. The Starship Enterprise show on TV shows you a great many obstacles with which you will encounter in space. These TV shows were just logs from the computer that we printed out and had actors act out. So you should be aware. Starfleet has been operating on this planet for over um, 60, 70 years. They were and they are what got us involved in the nuclear technology, trying to recreate the warp core with whatever primitive technologies we had so that we could create a new ship and get off the planet and leave you to your own little ways. Well, it has been 29 minutes and 3 seconds. That's just enough time to say my goodbyes. So, my friend, show up again tomorrow morning for the morning curve. And this is James Bradsher saying, Night Owl 74 says, spread the love, not the hate. Too much hate in the world, not enough love. Like Jesus says, love thy neighbor as if he was your brother. Because one of these days you're going to find out you miss Flanders, right? We all know Flanders, right? You'll miss Flanders. You will. Don't act like you won't. And like I say, Bradsher Pingray 2020. Can one man make a difference? Join me in my personal endeavors as I try to do just that and make a difference for this planet. I'll see you again tomorrow. Goodbye.